more at the finish when you see the leg come out.
That's exactly right. And what's have to take into consideration leg length and height. If you're much taller than the person, right, and then there's the length between the floor and your hip, right? If you have much longer legs, then you don't have to lift your legs high. If you have short legs, you gotta have to get your hip underneath and you gotta throw more with the hip. And I won't take us too much. Head and wrist, inside Katatoshi, this foot goes both, and then I load it onto my hip. If you could get it in the first try, it would be ideal. 1, 2, 3. That would be ideal. But a lot of the times, it's going to be a case where my opponent tries to sidestep and then shift their center of gravity away from the fulcrum where I'm trying to rotate him upwards. And in that case, when I go Katatoshi here, and as I load and he steps to the side this way, we're kind of in this situation where I have to chase this leg down and then bring the shoulder downward and then hop in a circle and keep that connection with the leg and keep it elevated so I circle and spiral the Uchimata into a Kenten finish. Right? Do this with an overhook, do this with an underhook. The key to this game here is attacking here and then elevating and then trying to raise his shoulders down. And even if you lose the wrist, if you have a very tight overhook or underhook, you can sort of crank it and down and create that happen. A good drill to be able to do here is sort of getting yourself into this position and then hopping through here, pulling off and back, by the way, circling this way. I'm trying to mess around. So do the shit up his head, where you're hitting it onto the leg and pulling it across. And just getting comfortable in that position. Nice drill that everyone should do to get comfortable being able to finish each shot. You can do the same thing over and over. I have this and drink. Hopping, pull the leg back. Right, pull that leg forward. Back, this, that hand. Tap to the feet. Put the pressure downward. A little hopping drill for you.
Good drill for the defense too. It's much harder to throw against somebody that's really comfortable on one leg, has good balance there, and they spend a lot of time being able to move and keep their balance on one leg.
Now we're looking at the chest-to-chest position. You get underhook wrist, you get your karatani. Now we go chest-to-chest, over under. Right? Very, very classic position. It's a symmetrical position for exactly the same position. So from here, you want to sort of gain a little bit of an advantage. If I want to turn and throw my opponent in this direction, if he has his armpit high, and his underhook high, I'm not going to be able to turn in this direction. So now he's controlling the space underneath me, and now if he wants to go in this direction, he can go in this direction and throw his hips across for any sort of throw. So we want to make sure that this arm is anchored down. If we go here, it's very difficult to anchor down. But if we go down into this arm at the end of the lever, it's going to be a lot easier. And then when I can bring my arm down, connect my hands, and now his arm will be trapped. And in this case, his arm is trapped, and it climb onto the top of the hip. And now he can no longer turn for Uchimata. It's very difficult because it's anchored down. If this is on the loose side, I go for a Kosura Gaki here, he's going to be able to turn and throw me with an Uchimata. So we do a lot of Kosura Gaki stuff, foot stuff, in the foot sweeps instructional, foot sweep and trips instructional. But this is more sort of throwing videos, so not cover too much. But the concept here, with the over-under, is very important to control this far side. And of course, he has the same thing as me, is we're in a 50-60 position. In the case that this elbow is very, very high, and it's very difficult for me to anchor down, I may have to tuck this elbow down using my wrist, and then rotate him in the opposite direction by pulling down on this lap, and then bumping him this way. So now, his body has been taken down this way, and now from here, as he returns his upper body in a neutral position, I can anchor my body down and then connect using my head in position. So now from here, when I go upright, I truly have a winning position where his arm is trapped, and I'm able to cut the angle and go into things like Urunage, Kosoro Gaki here, and then sort of start taking my opponent down to big throws. So we have this sort of over position. I want to anchor down here. Sometimes I cannot, so I might try to hook this elbow and then pull, push, pull. Right, create some space here. I'm able to pull him down, sort of wedge my shoulder underneath his armpit, chest here, and then try to get him a little bit more upright. And the more upright he is, the more I can sort of attack his hips and his midsection. Sometimes his elbow is tucked in real tight, and I can't reach back and connect this elbow to my wrist. In this case, I'm going to try to use this hand palm on the lap. And I'm going to try to pull, and I may even try to use my leg to pull here. So now I'm using my head to anchor down on his arm. I can sort of pull his hand back and try to pin this hand down, and now sort of he has sort of a useless underhook on this side. And then if I'm able to climb up the body here, I can sort of force, using my head, that underhook and wrist position that we were looking for before. If he gets rid of his head, I go to his pinch headlock. Generally covered yet, but we eventually will. So, chest to chest. I can drive in here, he's pushing me back. I release, stand him up, change levels. Try to catch this. And when I do this, I can also switch my legs as well. I'm going to shift his body weight here. I'm going to use this lever. Try to all balance him. Okay? And as I'm doing so, I'm trying to lock my hips, connect my hands around his arm and waist. And so last but not least, sometimes I switch legs and I'm able to punch this leg here and then use this kind of a motion. Okay? And knock me in. I hit so. And then from here.